A political assassination, a fractured FBI, and a nation asking if those sworn to protect us are now failing in their mission. The killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk has ignited not only grief but a firestorm of questions. At the center stands FBI Director Kash Patel, once a loyal Trump aide now facing blistering criticism from both the left and the right. What began as a tragedy on a Utah campus has spiraled into a crisis of trust in America's most powerful law enforcement agency. Charlie Kirk was gunned down on September 10, 2025, while speaking at Utah Valley University. The suspect, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, was arrested within 33 hours, thanks in part to a surveillance still that investigators quickly enhanced and released to the public. Kirk's murder sent shockwaves across the nation, particularly because of his prominence as the founder of Turning Point USA and his role as one of Donald Trump's most visible allies among young conservatives. But as the investigation progressed, attention quickly shifted from the shooter to the FBI itself. The FBI, under Director Kash Patel, moved with unusual speed in the manhunt, using geolocation from cell towers, data dumps, and rapid analysis of Discord chat logs where Robinson had purportedly been active. Former Trump advisor Patel credited his team for mobilizing every asset to trace communications, seize electronic devices, and coordinate arrests. Yet despite the quick capture, Patel's leadership has been savaged by critics, who argue his obsession with media appearances and personal credit undermine professionalism, while fueling what some call a MAGA civil war inside law enforcement. The controversy deepened when major outlets like the New York Times accused the FBI of looking like Keystone cops, suggesting investigators initially chased the wrong leads and miscommunicated about suspect identification. Patel hit back, insisting his decisions, like releasing the suspect's photo, were crucial in bringing Robinson down quickly. Supporters point out that Kirk's killer was caught in little more than a day, remarkable speed by federal standards. Still, detractors see Patel as a self-promoter, more concerned with Twitter posts and TV hits than the quiet, careful professionalism expected of the Bureau.
The stakes became even higher when former FBI counterterrorism executive Christopher O'Leary delivered a brutal assessment. Calling Patel an incompetent sycophant, O'Leary argued that national security is endangered when loyalty to a president outweighs experience. He warned that if a larger crisis, like a terrorist attack on the scale of 9/11, were to occur under Patel's watch, the Bureau would be paralyzed. O'Leary criticized Patel for sidelining seasoned agents, replacing qualified leaders with loyalists, and focusing on spotlight moments rather than mission success and agent welfare. This assessment was echoed on Capitol Hill. Patel's scheduled testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee and the House Judiciary Committee was overshadowed by questions about his management of the Kirk investigation, his clashes with Utah authorities, and even the removal of veteran FBI officials weeks before the shooting. State partners accused Patel of undercutting their work, releasing images without coordination, and turning a joint investigation into a one-man publicity tour. The Utah Department of Public Safety bluntly stated Patel's actions violated the spirit of unified decision-making essential to crisis response.
The hearing soon became a political spectacle. Democratic lawmakers pressed Patel on whether Donald Trump's name appears in the unreleased Jeffrey Epstein files, while Republicans tried to shield him by deflecting blame onto prior administrations. Patel repeatedly refused to say how many times Trump's name appeared, sparking furious exchanges with Congressman Eric Swalwell. "You're the FBI director," Swalwell shot back. "This is the largest sex trafficking case in history, and you haven't even read the files in full?" Patel's evasions further damaged his credibility and raised doubts about his independence. At one point, Patel bizarrely claimed that Trump himself had authorized the indictment of Jeffrey Epstein, a statement flatly false on legal grounds. Presidents do not issue indictments, prosecutors do. The remark left legal analysts stunned, suggesting Patel was either ignorant of basic law or deliberately trying to cast Trump as a hero in a case where he is under scrutiny. For critics, this was the smoking gun. Patel was less an FBI director and more a political operative masquerading as one, willing to bend facts to flatter his boss.
Meanwhile, the families of Epstein's victims were horrified when Patel appeared to dismiss their credibility, suggesting prior Justice Departments had already judged their accounts unreliable. That statement, too, was false. Survivors never received such a blanket dismissal. And hearing it from the FBI director during sworn testimony struck many as insulting and dangerous. Members of Congress erupted, with Representative Pramila Jayapal demanding to know whether Patel believed the victims at all. He dodged again, refusing to offer a clear affirmation. The optics could not have been worse. All of this unfolded against the backdrop of a nation still in mourning for Charlie Kirk. His assassination was more than a personal tragedy. It became a symbol of political violence in America's universities, where debates over speech and ideology have increasingly turned volatile. Kirk's supporters described him as a tireless advocate for conservative youth, while opponents often criticize his rhetoric as divisive. But regardless of politics, the sight of a young man cut down while exercising his First Amendment rights shook Americans across party lines.
The fallout has been particularly fierce within the conservative movement itself. Some pro-Trump voices rushed to defend Patel, emphasizing the rapid arrest as proof of competence. Others accused him of exploiting Kirk's death for personal gain. Commentators on Fox News, Newsmax, and social media accused the FBI director of walking the crime scene with cameras in tow, tweeting unverified claims, and undercutting local law enforcement, all to maintain favor with Trump. The spectacle has fueled what one analyst described as a MAGA civil war, with Patel caught in the middle. To understand why Patel's leadership is so divisive, one must revisit his career trajectory. Once a mid-level attorney at the Justice Department, Patel rose to prominence during the Trump years by fiercely defending the president in the Russia probe and later joining the National Security Council. Critics saw him as a political loyalist rather than a career lawman. When Trump appointed him FBI director in his second term, it was viewed as a sharp break from tradition, putting a partisan warrior atop an institution historically expected to remain apolitical.
The Kirk assassination may now stand as the defining test of Patel's leadership. Did he act decisively to prevent further violence and apprehend the killer? Yes. But did he simultaneously damage trust in the Bureau by prioritizing optics, silencing career experts, and appearing to cover for Trump in unrelated scandals? Also yes. In American democracy, law enforcement agencies must not only deliver results, but also maintain legitimacy. Without trust, even quick arrests ring hollow. For many Americans, Patel's handling of this case has left deep scars on both fronts. Adding fuel to the fire, Patel's testimony coincided with Trump promising to award Charlie Kirk a posthumous Medal of Freedom. The move was hailed by supporters as a fitting tribute, but criticized by others as a political stunt designed to distract from the FBI's controversies. Trump, never shy about defending loyalists, praised Patel's decisive leadership and lashed out at the media for tearing down patriots. This alignment only reinforced concerns that the FBI director views his ultimate accountability not to the Constitution, but to the president who appointed him.
Yet, amid the chaos, it's worth noting that Patel's defenders make some valid points. The Bureau did act quickly, leveraging technology to track Robinson's phone, seize his devices, and interview scores of potential associates. Patel argues his decisions saved lives by preventing copycats or coordinated attacks. Supporters highlight that within 33 hours, a dangerous killer was behind bars. That's not Keystone Cops, that's results. In a nation weary of bureaucratic slow-walking, that argument resonates with some who care more about outcomes than optics. Still, the deeper issue is not whether the FBI can catch a suspect quickly. It's whether Americans can believe in its fairness, neutrality, and competence when the chips are down. O'Leary's warning that Patel couldn't handle a larger crisis is chilling. If confidence erodes, cooperation from states, local agencies, and the public could collapse at the exact moment America needs it most. The perception of partisanship, incompetence, or worse, political cover-ups corrodes the foundation of a justice system built on trust.
What makes this moment uniquely dangerous is the collision of tragedy and politics. Charlie Kirk's death is a genuine loss for millions of Americans who admired him. Yet instead of uniting the country in grief and resolve, it has become another battlefield in the partisan war. Patel, rather than lowering tensions, often seems to escalate them, tweeting, attacking critics, and framing himself as a victim of the liberal media. It is a strategy that may please his allies, but risks alienating the broader nation he is sworn to serve. Meanwhile, Robinson, the alleged assassin, sits in custody, facing aggravated murder charges. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, citing chilling text messages and witness testimony in which he reportedly admitted to the killing. Investigators continue probing his online activity, including Discord groups far larger than originally reported, raising fears of extremist networks lurking in plain sight. These facts should be the central focus of the national conversation: why political violence is growing, what radicalizes young men, and how law enforcement can intervene before blood is spilled. Instead, much of the spotlight remains fixed on Kash Patel. His critics argue that by centering himself in the narrative, he is distracted from those urgent questions. His defenders counter that the attacks are politically motivated, designed to weaken Trump's administration by undermining one of his key appointees. Both may be true, But for ordinary Americans, the effect is exhausting. A moment that should prompt unity against violence has devolved into finger-pointing over who looked good on television during the aftermath. It is important to stress that the FBI is more than its director. Thousands of career agents and analysts worked tirelessly to bring Kirk's killer into custody. Many remain demoralized by what they see as political interference. When local Utah officials publicly rebuked Patel, it underscored a growing rift between federal headquarters and field offices. Healthy law enforcement relies on cooperation, humility, and professionalism. If agents fear their work will be spun into political theater, the willingness to share intelligence and act decisively may wither at the worst possible time.
So where does America go from here? For one, Congress must demand transparency, not just about Patel's actions, but about the FBI's structural independence. Oversight hearings should focus less on sound bites and more on restoring professional standards. Patel, for his part, must decide whether to serve as a partisan fighter or as a steward of a vital democratic institution. If he cannot separate loyalty to Trump from loyalty to the law, the nation will continue to bleed credibility, even if it manages to catch criminals quickly. Charlie Kirk's assassination was meant to silence a voice. Instead, it has sparked a national reckoning. At stake is not only how we respond to political violence, but whether we still believe in the institutions designed to keep us safe. The FBI can recover its standing, but only if it chooses transparency over self-promotion, accountability over excuses, and professionalism over partisanship. In the end, the story is bigger than Kirk, Patel, or Trump. It is about whether America's democracy can withstand another blow and emerge stronger for it.